Our next speaker is Bojan. Yeah. He is talking about the use of modern geomatic techniques for creating and updating a green cadastre of urban trees and shrubs, a case study of Cumanubo City Riverbank.
So good morning everyone. I'm Bojan Mihajlovski, first-year Metro student and coming from University of Padova. So today I will talk about something that all of us we have in the moment in our wallet. So actually today I'm going to talk about the ID. So maybe you're asking now why the guy is talking about the ID in the forestry meeting. Well, I'm going to talk about the ID that looks like that. Now maybe it makes sense, right? So first, let me start with the story how I got the idea of creating tree ID. Idea comes out in summer 2018, where I was doing morning exercises in my hometown, in the park. And one morning, I stopped under the tree and I start thinking about, oh, how I can increase the value of these trees. How I can make them more close to us, how I can protect them. So, also how I can avoid the illegal logging, because I know there was a lot of people cutting the trees for the wood, right? Then, I was thinking also how I can increase the transparency of the company that is managing the green space in the city. Nextly, I was thinking also how I can raise the public awareness of the importance of the urban greenery. Education of the society was very important, how I can also increase the education and people to know what is the value of the green space. And finally, to create the public green cadastre. Then I got the idea of tree ID. So let me briefly introduce the area where I was working. It's the Kumanovo municipality, city in North Macedonia. It's the largest municipality, so we are very small and very small country. This is the largest municipality in my country, around 500 kilometers square, and around 100,000 inhabitants. So the area, the study area where I was working, Kumanovo K is the name, was a new built green area in 2007. Well, to prepare this tree ID, I needed to work. I start with a field survey. Firstly, I needed to know where this tree comes from, right? All of us, we have in our ID our country. So I needed to know the position, where the tree is. I took GPS location of all individuals in the park. Nextly, we have also pictures, photo in our ID, right? So I took images on the ground with a phone, and also I took the pictures from the air by using UAV drone DJI Mavic Pro. And finally, I collect some tree attributes, like a name, let's say family name, diameter, height, canopy, and health condition of the trees. When I collect all this data on the field, I run to my office and I start processing, the most difficult part, processing the data. Well, I organize Excel table with attributes, preparing for the GS. Nextly, I transfer the GPS coordinates in my computer, again for the GPS, for the GS, georeference the airborne images, that was the most difficult part, by the way, and obtain orthophoto image in ERDAS, and finally, I create digital tree ID map in QGIS. So, that's what I found. I found 82% of the individuals were trees, and only 18% was the shrubs. Furthermore, I found that I classified the group of the trees in several classes. You can see from the photo from 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 12, to 20, etc. And I found that most of the trees were very, very young. As I said in the beginning, it's a very new built area in the city, so most of the trees are still young. And also comparing with the height of the trees, I found that they're in the first 0 to 10, let's say, meters. Here, interesting is that number of individuals in percentage. I found 27 taxa at 637 individuals in the park. But 50% of the individuals were only 3 species. This is Fraxinus americana, this is Catalpa bignoides, and Platyocadus orientalis. Only 3 species was presenting half of the individuals in the park. And my favorite part of the work was obtaining the different projections of the park. First was orthophoto projection. I was working in, as I said, in ERDA software, obtaining the orthophoto. Very important is that the pixel is only 3 centimeters. It's a very, very high resolution where you can see a lot of details in the picture. Oops, sorry. Nextly, I obtained the digital elevation model, which shows me that the data that I had in the survey on the field was actually accurate. Because as you can see in the legend, most of the trees are from 0 to 10. So it was a proof of my data. And finally, the 3D projection. So I represent the area in 3-dimensional way where we can see a lot of details, and it's more interesting. And my final product of the work was 3ID, as I said in the beginning. Here, thanks to the Google Cloud, I create a free website where you can have the results like that. So by clicking at each point, you have the name, you have family name, you have diameter, height of the trees, you have the code and the guy that was measuring the tree. That is very important. And as a conclusion, I want to mention that publishing the thematic maps are very important for the scientific community, but also for the citizens to see what is in the area and to understand what is the importance of the green area in our cities, right? And finally, idea about the urban green cadastre as well, 3ID for me. Without quality, if the data is not updating regularly and accurately. So we need to update these data. Without that, the 3ID doesn't make sense, no? Only update data provide a permanent value for the green cadastre. That was the happy face of my tree in the end of the work. And before I finish my presentation, I want to share one interesting story about me that makes me happy. When I finished the project, there was people working for the social media was very interesting of my project and said, Bojan, maybe you can share this with us and we can publish this in the paper news, right? So this was the paper news, but the most important is that some of these people reading the paper news was from UNDP, United Nations Development Program. And they found interesting, and we implement the same methodology, the same project in Skopje, in the capital of Macedonia, obtaining 110,000 trees, where still the project is ongoing. We're collecting in the private property. So thank you very much.